We've all heard the terrifying, doomsday predictions about a looming AI job apocalypse that was supposed to clear out offices. The narrative was incredibly simple. Automated machines and intelligent software would replace human labor overnight, instantly slashing corporate costs across the board. But in the high-stakes world of Silicon Valley, a completely different, highly chaotic economic reality is playing out behind closed boardroom doors. Instead of massive structural savings, tech giants are hitting a massive, unexpected financial wall that is threatening their quarterly margins. AI isn't proving to be a cheap, seamless replacement. It is becoming shockingly, unsustainably expensive to run at an enterprise scale. Now, prominent industry leaders like Microsoft and Uber are quietly showing major signs of financial distress over their automation budgets. They are discovering a hard truth. In many complex corporate workflows, keeping human workers is actually the more economical choice. Let's look closely at the sudden, quiet retreat happening right now inside Microsoft's own elite software engineering teams. The tech giant has reportedly begun canceling most of its direct internal Claude code licenses for its staff members. According to recent insider reports from The Verge, the cancellations are hitting the Experiences and Devices division especially hard. This is the vital core team responsible for flagship products like Windows, Office, and the Surface hardware ecosystem. Developers are being ordered to abruptly halt their usage of Anthropic's tool and migrate back to GitHub Copilot CLI instead. What makes this move so incredibly dramatic is that the change is happening just 6 months after its initial rollout. Back in December, Microsoft opened the floodgates, actively encouraging thousands of its workers to experiment with the advanced coding tool. Project managers, designers, and software engineers fell in love with its capabilities, creating a massive spike in internal corporate adoption. But that organic adoption instantly converted into a catastrophic, unpredictable corporate expense that caught financial controllers completely off guard. Internal communications reveal that individual engineers were easily racking up API bills between $500 and $2,000 a single month. Because agentic AI models read vast code bases and generate millions of tokens to solve problems, the costs compound relentlessly every day. To fix this bleeding budget, Microsoft is forcing internal platform discipline, cutting third-party spending before its fiscal year concludes. However, it's worth noting that canceling these internal seats won't disrupt Microsoft's grand, multi-billion-dollar Anthropic Foundry partnership deal. Microsoft is still investing up to $5 billion in Anthropic, giving external Azure cloud customers access to frontier models. Plus, Anthropic remains legally committed to buying $30 billion worth of Azure compute capacity over the next several years. But internally, Microsoft is firmly locking down the financial brakes on third-party AI tool access to keep its costs controlled. And they are definitely not the only tech behemoth feeling acute buyer's remorse regarding their rapid automation timelines. Uber is also radically scaling back its internal automation investments after receiving a brutal, data-driven reality check from its operations. Uber's chief operating officer, Andrew McDonald, recently issued a stark warning on the popular Rapid Response podcast network. McDonald stated plainly that while AI costs are rising incredibly fast, the expected enterprise productivity gains simply aren't materializing yet. That link's not there, he told the podcast host, signaling a massive, dangerous gap between marketing hype and true financial return. This cautious corporate pullback makes perfect sense when you look at the explosive numbers behind Uber's software development budget. Earlier, Uber's chief technology officer, Praveen Napali-Naga, sent shockwaves through the industry with a wild, transparent admission. He revealed that Uber had completely burned through its entire 2026 AI coding tools budget in just 4 months. By April, the money meant to sustain their engineering automation for the whole year was entirely gone, forcing an emergency freeze. How did things spin out of control so unbelievably fast for the global ride-hailing leader's internal operations team? It turns out Uber actively incentivized AI tool adoption, even setting up internal competitive leaderboards to push engineers forward. Teams were publicly ranked by how much AI they used, triggering an internal corporate craze known as Tokenmaxxing. Engineers gamified the system, letting autonomous agents run wild across their massive, multi-million-line backend code repositories. Before long, AI agents were entirely writing nearly 11% of Uber's live, production-grade backend software code updates. While 95% of their engineers adopted the tools, the consumption-based token pricing model completely broke their operational bank. These developments prove that replacing human labor with artificial intelligence is far more complex than a simple spreadsheet calculation. Industry experts point out that the total cost of ownership for enterprise AI remains completely staggering for average businesses. You aren't just paying for a simple software seat. You are paying for massive compute infrastructure and model inference fees. You also have to fund complex custom systems integration, strict data governance, and constant human oversight to prevent bugs. Right now, AI functions best as a productivity enhancer rather than an economically viable, independent human replacement layer. Looking ahead, financial powerhouses like Goldman Sachs are predicting a massive, unprecedented token explosion by the year 2030. They forecast a 24-fold increase in token consumption, hitting a staggering 120 quadrillion tokens monthly. As businesses deploy complex autonomous AI agents to perform multi-step tasks, the aggregate data volume will skyrocket beyond belief. To offset this, research firm Gartner predicts that highly sophisticated AI models will cost 90% less by 2030. But here is the catch. Gartner explicitly warns that cheaper individual tokens won't mean cheaper corporate bills for enterprises. Agentic AI models require exponentially more tokens per task than standard conversational chatbots that humans interact with directly. The sheer volume of increased algorithmic consumption will completely outpace the falling unit costs of the underlying raw technology. Furthermore, major AI infrastructure providers are highly unlikely to pass those raw cost savings down to their end consumers. As a Gartner analyst warned, leaders shouldn't confuse the deflation of commodity tokens with the true democratization of reason. Despite these rising financial red flags, the tech industry's obsession with AI dominance shows no signs of slowing down. At Meta, employees even crafted an internal leaderboard mockingly named Claudionomics to track worker token spending in real time. Amazon has also pushed its massive global workforce to Tokenmaxx and integrate AI blocks into every single corporate workflow. But the enterprise reality remains. Massive data queries, long documents, and deep coding require intense, constant GPU compute power. More compute means skyrocketing utility bills and massive data center inference costs for tech providers like Microsoft and Google. For now, human beings remain the more stable, predictable, and cost-effective engine driving the world's finest software architectures. The grand automation promise is hitting a hard wall of economic reality, shifting the balance of power back to human talent. If you want to stay ahead of the massive economic shifts reshaping technology, smash that like and subscribe button. Every day, the financial realities of running these massive neural networks are forcing executives to rethink their aggressive strategies. The initial hype phase where companies threw money at any tool with an AI label is officially coming to an end. We are entering a pragmatic era where return on investment is scrutinized down to the single penny by corporate accountants. The sheer physical cost of running thousands of GPUs simultaneously is creating an unyielding floor for tech pricing models. When an AI agent has to ping a server 1,000 times just to fix a single line of code, the math breaks down. Human developers, by comparison, do not require a massive data center's worth of electricity just to debug a software feature. This realization is causing a massive strategic shift where companies are refocusing on hyper-efficient, highly targeted local models. The industry is learning that bigger isn't always better if the cost of operation completely destroys your quarterly profit margins. As the token economy evolves, the developers who understand how to optimize code for minimal consumption will become incredibly valuable. Efficiency is becoming the ultimate competitive advantage, replacing the old race of just training the largest possible model. Until the physics of hardware computing undergo another massive breakthrough, human intelligence remains the gold standard for corporate efficiency. The path forward requires a balanced approach, blending the speed of automation with the cost-effective precision of human experience. As you watch this economic drama unfold across the tech sector, keep your eyes focused on the raw infrastructure numbers. The virtual world is entirely bound by the harsh, unyielding realities of finance, energy, and physical computing limitations. True innovation means building systems that are economically sustainable for the long haul, not just impressive in a tech demo. Silicon Valley flew too close to the sun with unlimited token consumption, and now the bills have finally come due. The companies that survive and dominate the next decade will be the ones that master the strict discipline of AI unit economics. Stay analytical, question the sweeping headlines of automated replacements, and look closely at the actual corporate balance sheets. The human workforce isn't going anywhere anytime soon. We are simply learning how to manage our new digital partners responsibly. Thank you for watching this deep dive into the hidden financial mechanics of the modern artificial intelligence boom. Keep tracking the trends, stay grounded in economic reality, and hit that like and subscribe button for visual link.